The Mesmer is, in my opinion, one of the most interesting classes to play. It has excellent damage, excellent support capabilities, and great survivability. I occasionally see complaints from players that the Mesmer is slow and painful to level, but especially if you already have another character and a little bit of gold, that does not need to be the case at all. For the Mesmer, all of the usual tips and tricks apply for leveling quickly. By far, the fastest leveling option is to use a level 80 boost if you have one available. If you don't, the next fastest is to use Tomes of Knowledge. I'll assume that you have none of those options and are going to level your character traditionally. How quickly you can level your Mesmer depends a lot on the choices you make along the way. You should prioritize choices that improve your power and strike damage for the most part. The first choice that you'll make that affects how quickly you can level is which race to choose. The different races' tutorial events take different times to complete, with the Norn and Char taking the longest. If you have a particular race you prefer for role-playing reasons, choose that. But otherwise, I suggest you choose Human, Asura, or Sylvari to get past the tutorial event as quickly as possible. I find Human gives the fastest leveling experience due to the starting map design and consistency of foe types. A quick tip for Human: during the tutorial event, after talking to the soldier at the inn, you can run directly to the south side of Shaymore Keep, which may allow you to bypass murdering centaurs at the keep, and go directly to murdering the giant earth elemental, depending on the timing of the events. However, even before character creation, if this is not your first character, you will want to prepare a few things ahead of time. Go to the Black Lion trading post and buy yourself some better gear than what your character will start out with. At early levels, you will get the most benefit by far from gear with power. You will only be able to buy chest, legs, gloves, and boots at these low levels, no helm or shoulders. You'll also want to buy a greatsword. This weapon has the longest range and the best damage at the early levels, and also has some skills that will help you with defense, like Greatsword 5, Illusionary Wave, to knock back foes as they approach you. Buy 4 different armor runes that have power as the first bonus. This will give you plus 40 power. For weapon sigils, the 2 most useful options will be Sigil of Bloodlust, which will give you a stacking power bonus for each foe you kill, up to plus 50 power, and a permanent damage bonus rune based on the type of foe the race you have chosen will face most often. For humans, the clear choice is Minor Sigil of Justice for damage bonus against bandits. For the other 2 races, the choice is a bit less clear, but for Sylvari, the best choice is probably either Sigil of Dreams for Nightmare Court or Sigil of Undead Slaying. For Asura, you probably want Sigil of Mad Scientists for Inquest. If you have boosters for damage or experience available from existing characters, consider using those for an even faster leveling experience. Lastly, you can also buy or craft inexpensive food and utility buffs that will give you both more experience and more power. At the beginning, grilled steak and rough sharpening stones are probably the best choice. But we're not done yet. If you're in a guild, bring up the guild panel, select your guild, and then travel to your guild hall. At the tavern in your guild hall, there is a vendor who can sell you a variety of guild enhancements. These are free and become active as soon as you purchase them. There are buffs available for a number of different game modes. Select the Guild XP Gain enhancement for an additional 10% experience bonus. Now it's time to start the leveling process proper. The method we will choose is by doing map completion, starting with your race's starting zone. How quickly you will level is primarily dependent on 2 things: how fast you can get around, and how fast you can kill foes. If you have mounts from the Path of Fire expansion, they become available at level 2. Use them. If you have any damage or experience boosts, like we discussed earlier, now is the time to use those. Try to choose a methodical, efficient path around the map to get all of the points of interest, vistas, waypoints, hero points, and hearts as you pass through an area. These will be your primary source of experience. There is an add-on for Guild Wars 2 called Taco, or Tactical Overlay, which helps you do this as efficiently as possible. Here is where all that power gear that we bought and buffs that we obtained come in. At this point, you will only have the first two greatsword skills, but these are plenty enough to kill your foes very quickly with all the buffs that you have. In most of the early open world content, the mobs you will face only have one foe. You can use Mirror Blade, Greatsword 2, to attack from maximum range, and chances are it will die immediately or after just one auto attack, before it ever got a chance to attack you back. This will enable you to level very quickly and very safely. If there are active events nearby, these will likely be your most efficient source of experience. Participate in them. You won't get the experience from the event until the event is completed, although you will get experience from any of the foes that you kill. However, if other players are doing the event, you don't need to wait until they're completed to move on. You likely can get gold participation just by killing a few enemies, or gathering a few items, or whatever. Other players will complete the event, and as long as you are still on the map when that happens, you will get credit. Events will have larger mob sizes. Fortunately, Mirror Blade actually bounces between multiple targets. You can hit more than one target with your auto attack as well by lining up enemies in a straight line and targeting the one in the back. Your auto attack will hit any foe that is in the direct line between you and your targeted foe up to 3 targets. This will help you to kill faster and gain XP faster. At level 5, you will also get Mind Stab, Greatsword 3, which will hit all foes in a medium-sized radius. The next skill you obtain will be Phantasmal Berserker. As you level, your phantasms will be responsible for most of your damage. Once you obtain this skill, you should probably open with that, and then follow immediately with Mirror Blade, followed immediately by Mind Stab, and then Auto Attack. In most cases, your foe will be dead by now, but if not, prioritize those skills as they come off cooldown, auto-attacking when nothing else is available. Your last greatsword skill is Illusionary Wave. It does only minor damage, but knocks your foes back. It has a fairly short range, so you should only use this defensively when mobs are close to melee range. Once you are level 10, it will be time for your first gear change. You basically will just repeat the exercise you went through to obtain your starter gear, except buy level 10 gear instead. Prioritize power over any other stat. Be sure to fill in all upgrade slots with power runes as before. As you level, upgrade your gear whenever you find killing things becomes slow. You should be receiving enough gold to easily pay for gear upgrades on that pace. You don't necessarily need to buy the best tier of gear available at your level. However, this obviously will minimize your foe kill times and keep you leveling as fast as possible. Don't forget to refresh your boosts and food buffs as they wear off. Also be sure to upgrade food and utility buffs as well as runes and sigils to the next tier as you level, so that you're getting the most boost possible. Also at level 10, you will gain the ability to weapon swap. At this point, you should buy a sword and focus. Sword has excellent damage and defense capabilities, and focus provides fantastic defense, damage, and quality of life improvements. Phantasmal Warden is a great skill that does a lot of damage to a group of foes, and also blocks projectiles. Standing behind it will render you immune to projectile attacks, enabling you to safely attack from range after swapping to Greatsword. Temporal Curtain grants you swiftness, making it easier to move around if you don't have mounts, also cripples foes that run through it, and flips over to a pull, enabling you to group up enemies very easily for even faster killing. Now to discuss utility skills, specializations, and traits. There are 4 utility skills that you will want as soon as possible: the Healing Signet, Signet of Ether, Decoy, Mirror Images, and Phantasmal Disenchanter. You might also want Signet of Inspiration if you don't have mounts, as it will help you with your swiftness uptime. You should prioritize assigning points to Signets until you have the Healing Signet, and maybe Signet of Inspiration, and then put your points into Illusions until you have Phantasmal Disenchanter. At that point, stop assigning points to skills and save them for your specializations. Those are the only skills that you will need for the entire leveling process. The reason that we want those skills is because the clones will be very useful both for defense and also for shattering damage, and the Signet is a good heal, which we will also leverage later to reset all of our phantasms so we can have more of them. The first specialization that we will want is Domination. This will enable us to buff our greatsword skills. The traits that you will want are Bountiful Blades, which increases the damage from Phantasmal Berserker and Mirror Blade, Egotism, which gives us a 10% damage bonus against foes who have less health than you do. And Vicious Expression, which gives you and your illusions a damage bonus against foes with no boons. In the open world, most foes don't have any boons, so this is a significant damage increase. The next specialization you will want is Dueling. Choose Phantasmal Fury so that your phantasms have fury, Fencer's Finesse for a damage bonus when attacking with a sword and for reduction in sword skill cooldowns, and Superiority Complex for increased critical damage. The last specialization we'll choose is Illusions. Choose Persistence of Memory, so boons that your phantasms have will be passed to you when they become clones. Phantasmal Haste to give quickness to you and your phantasms, and Phantasmal Force for a damage buff. That's about all there is to leveling Mesmer quickly. As you can see here, I played this Mesmer for a little over 3 hours to get her to level 20. That's a very comfortable leveling pace, and to be honest, includes some time spent not really leveling, but organizing what I would do for purposes of this video. Leveling your Mesmer does not need to be slow or painful by any means. So that's about it. I hope you found this video helpful.